Let's give it to him, Chewy.
Lovely Diana, rain with magic, death elusive. Darkest dreams come true, kisses for you. Her arrows darken the sky, a flight of ravens flying through. Ophir harp, dark lord melody shining through. Death inducer, raining blood, bite your lip. Bellissima in the vampire dress, cracking leather whips. Rain with your magic. Hail Satan, spells of Lucifer. Hail Satan, Catherine of the wheel. Hail Satan, the lake of fire is clear. Sing the muse. Rain with magic, death elusive. Darkest dreams come true, kisses for you. Goat head soup, it's magic. You can have a giant rubber devil in a tight dress. Whiplash. Do androids dream of electric sheep? Mr. Sandman with the hot purple anointing cream. It knocks him out. The drugs weigh a ton. Snow blonde, do your makeup. Girl, be my private dancer. Hecate says I'm her main squeeze. Lucifer, the light bearer. Myrtle of Venus.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming back to Renaissance Portal. We're going to finish up what I planned to start to do, or what I planned to do yesterday, but we didn't get through it, baby. So we're going to get through it today, and I want to say a couple of things before we get started. I have a real horror to throw at you today, some real good horror, so if you'd like to be horrified, if you like to be scared, you're going to have to look to the muse today, because we're going to be looking at a couple of passages of the sirens. And people, I want you to, we are going to finish the video, and then I'm going to talk about another one that's just come. I can't keep up with these things, right? Another that, just same thing, people. But I want to send out a message before I begin today. I want to send out a message to people. And the message is, if you want to consider whether the Old Testament was written in Greek or in Hebrew, consider Genesis 1:2 and the Hebrew tohu vabohu to translate aoratos and akataskewastos. Those are not equivalents, and you have a much more advanced form in the Greek than you do in the Hebrew. And that happens page after page after page after page after page. So the traditional propaganda from Bible scholars will not apply, right? It hasn't done anything for you in the past, and it won't do anything for you in the future. What you need is to explain Genesis 1:2 and the use of a highly advanced vocabulary on one side versus a very rudimentary 7,000 plus word ailing, failing, dying language. That's the science of what we're doing. I saw an entire refutation, another one just this morning, an entire one that just hit everything around without actually looking at the differences between the Greek and the Hebrew. It's amazing how people's heads get stuck in theology and religion, and their science just ekes out the door, just whoop, slides right under, a little space between your door and the threshold, you know what I mean? Just squeezes itself right there, makes it sound like that. Fantastic. So I want to continue with The theologian. We've got one theologian, a couple others that got with us. And it's hilarious. The things they do are hilarious, people. And I want you to see the cracks. Why am I doing this? Honestly, I was thinking, congregation. I was thinking about you. And I was doing it because I had just watched that Metatron thing, the second one. And it struck me. As he was talking to his people, I thought, what an oddity. What an oddity. The people have a certain relationship with you. And you know what I can say very proudly? Congregation, Satan, you know what I can say very proudly? Duh. What I can say very proudly is there's nothing monetary between us. I don't give you pet names. I don't treat you the same way. Have I ever said to any of you have I used the word subscribe? Absolutely not. Do I try to? Oh, God. Let me just make sure this is not another emergency. Oh, just give me oh, goodness. What am I going to do here? Let me put that down. Turn that off for now. Just wait. So what I need to do, people, is I need to bring you the goodies and I need to lay them out before you so you can lovey-dovey on them. You know what I mean? You need to see it. And you need to see it today in all of its horror. So I want you to reconfigure in your mind the theologian. We started with him yesterday. Let's look a little more at the theologian. Are you ready? Chewy, let's send this into overdrive. Boom. Boom. There's one. Okay, I'm going to do like that, right? And here we go. Blow this up. That's
but you could simply
one
just
thing I want. Before we start this, one thing I want, some questions, man. You know, I thought about you guys and I thought, you know what, don't mistreat these people. Don't talk down to them. Don't, you know, just that, be decent to these people. And I thought, you know, there's a lot of weight out there. So what I want you to do is I want you to be looking at this. I want you to come along with me again, right? Just participate. Chewy, throw them up there as they're asking questions. Oh, is the audio okay? Everybody, audio, video good? Just let us know.
Look to the authorities and those who have a command in the field, and even the non-Christian ones, are not going to conclude the things that he claims.
Okay, we sure about that? Are you sure? Let's start with Christing, right? Start asking the classicists what Christing is. People, remember how many bits of evidence do we have? 30,000?
Linguistically. So, but for those of you who do know New Testament Greek, Koine Greek, you will likely know enough, at the very least, to know that these are not only peculiar translations, they are such a stretch when it comes to the semantic domain range.
The semantic domain range? What are you talking about? What is this man talking about? What I see before me, satanic congregation, is another flim-flammer. Now, his flim-flammery is not like Bob's with anointing oil. His flim-flammery is with theology. He just said stuff that just stroking you, just bringing you along, just totally meaningless, right? And if I was sitting in a room with 50 classicists with this guy in the middle, it'd be a shark hunt, baby. You know what I mean? You can smell them out when they're not properly trained, right? Again, these are seminaries. Seminaries give theology degrees. I used to teach in one, people. I used to teach in one. There's a reason that we had so many people end up coming to our seminary for the language program.
It's such a stretch that it's just incredibly unbelievable, and there's a reason why nobody else really came to the conclusion that this is what was happening with Jesus and the young man who flees without his garment.
Right, he fled without his garment, because you and I have run out of our garments before. People, have you ever been sitting there? right? And you just take off, something surprises you, you're like, holy shit, and you run. And next thing you know, your underwear and your pants and your clothing, that's all on the ground over there. Right? We all know that. We've all watched cartoons from the 1940s.
But don't take my word for it. First of all, let's hear where Eamon does make this outrageous claim. It's not that he's just asking a question. It's not like one of those things where, hey, bro, I'm just asking a question. No, he does hold to the thesis that Jesus was a PDF file.
Okay, let me correct that one more time. My name is Amun, and I do not believe in anything. I have no theories for you. I have only the New Testament. And the New Testament says Jesus was arrested in a public park with a naked kid, and he said he was not a child trafficker to the authorities who came to arrest and eventually kill him. Does everybody understand that? This is not an idea. It is your text. Okay, people, can you get it? All you brilliant theologians out there, can you get that through your noggins?
You'll see that here in this video I'm about to show you. And then let's actually watch some linguistic experts briefly refute him on
Oh, I can't wait for these linguistic experts.
this point before we continue with the debate review. So let me share my screen and let's proceed. First of all, you'll hear Eamon making the claim about Jesus.
If you don't think Jesus Christ was the biggest drug user on the planet, you the original, right?
Something tells me that Eamon is a big time drug user.
Okay. All right. Did everybody see it? Something tells me that Eamon, excuse me, it's Amun. And let me just correct something for the first time that Bob, didn't understand. Are you ready? Amun is the name of a god, very popular in antiquity, has an entire group of oracles associated with his name. Alpha, mu, omega, nu, Amun. Now, people in antiquity used to say, where the hell does the name Amun come from? The Greeks going back and forth. Where's it come from? Right? And whole lots of everything from different influences, Egypt, whatever. Okay. You can play with that all you want. That's fantastic. Fact is, Amun was an oracular divinity. And had a gorgeous, gorgeous shrine. Oh, God, with a gorgeous oracle priestess. That's Amun. Okay? Now, did everybody see what this theologian who holds the high moral ground? Remember that's what they always have to tell you. You don't have the morals. We do. Right? What's the first thing he says? Does anybody get the idea that this guy uses drugs? Excuse me. You know he uses drugs, my friend? The ones that pump around in your wife's brain while I come to her in her dreams. That's who uses drugs. Do you know how weak you are? I see that. I'm talking now to you, the dude who was talking this. I see the fear in your eyes that what I have said about Jesus from the Bible is true, and that he was arrested with a naked kid and a bunch of other kids, and they crucified him because he was a trafficker of children. Hail Satan. Fantastic. Fantastic. Did everybody see that? That was my channeling. You know what I mean? You give the devil an open channel. Love it. Guess what, theologian? This is your place of punishment. Do you understand? You thought this was all. Oh, God. Let's keep going a little bit, people.
Going out on a limb here.
Really? Really? Right. Now it's wasting time.
It's so. Maybe it's his voice. Maybe it's his behavior, mannerisms, thought process, endorsement of drugs, promotion of drugs. Something tells me he's a heavy drug user.
Something tells me you endorse genocide.
Okay.
Every title is a drug title. And by the way, I just want to set the record straight, Hamilton.
Okay.
We all know that Jesus Christ was arrested in a public park at 4 a.m. with a naked boy. And the first thing that came out of Jesus's mouth is, I am not a child trafficker.
Okay. So he does make that claim, right? It's not that he's just asking questions. He really does believe that this is what happened.
Are they good? Okay, sorry, people. We thought it was okay. He really does make those claims. Who's this guy talking about? Mark? Does Mark make these claims? Because that's what it's okay.
Happened with Jesus and Mark 9:48 through 52, which is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's so.
Oh my God, this guy almost has a doctorate in theology, or what is he, a divinity? He's either a div guy or he's a theologian, right? And can you believe at this point, this is the best that he can do to defend his faith? you know, baby. He's just shaking his head. You think I ever did that at a conference, people? No, you've seen me. I just want to say this. You've seen me in very, non-formal, non-business environments. I'm sitting here in the Falcon, baby, parked in some sector of the galaxy that's just gorgeous, right? You understand? Oh, and it's personal and it's up in your face. I can say whatever I want because I'm Ronan, right? This is how you've seen me. Now, imagine that, just as Ronan, but within a group of people who respect the discipline of classical philology and know that everybody who's speaking deserves a place to speak because they have sweat and blood poured from them in the pursuit of this language. What this man is doing is an affront. It's a shame. It's a cosmic shame to handle texts like he's doing. To deceive you, people, he is nothing than the lowest street vendor. Do you understand me? He is selling his wares. Let's go again. Let's see some more. Don't you love it? I love it. Tell me if you love it. Chewy, throw them up there if they love it. If they hate it too, throw it up there too. Go ahead. Put your foot in your mouth again, buddy.
So laughably stupid that I don't know why anybody has taken him seriously, but because he has gotten so many views, he has gotten so much attention, it's necessary then to refute him. So
what is laughably crazy about Mark 14:51-52 concerning Jesus with a naked kid and a bandage on his hoo-ha? If I were to stand up and people, do they teach in church? Don't they teach the Bible in church? Do you understand? Look into his eyes, satanic congregation, and see the fear. He is looking to his beloved translation, hoping that it means a rebellion, that this has something in some way to do with a rebellion, please, and not a naked kid. Oh, God. You mean I've spent all my life in credibility following a dude who was arrested with a naked kid and a bunch of other drugged ones. My God, that's what's going through his head, people. Look in his eyes. Look in his eyes. Watch, it gets worse.
Let's go ahead and refute the stupidity that we just heard there. So let's actually.
By the way, people, see what I mean about professional? See what I mean about professional, right? You'd never go to a meeting and refute stupidity. Anybody who thought that at that level, you've got Oxford and Cambridge, you've got Harvard, you've got Princeton, you've got Michigan, you've got Berkeley. They're all sitting around a table looking at each other. You think they're going to talk about their papers as your stupidity? No, because the science is at a much higher level. Do you see? This guy is a street vendor.
Actually go to an expert in the field.
Okay, now this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Look at the expert. Do you know who the expert is? Okay. The dude who is their supposed Greek expert is, again, the New Testament person. Again, none of these people are classical philologists. None of them. And what's funny is they usually find someone who's had a little bit of modern Greek. So they think that they're proficient, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's like taking somebody off the street of some tiny desolate place in North Dakota and saying, "Please, sir, teach to me Beowulf." Well, you know English, don't you? Right? That's what these people are. These three ridiculous people. These three ridiculous people, and what they're presenting to you is at a level that is meant for an audience that does not have the expertise. Do you understand? These people are there. It's deceptive. It's deceptive. Let's see what he does. Here, let's skip ahead of the three. What are we going to call these guys, people? The three amigos? I don't know. Here, let's see. Three Stooges. That's what I meant. Hey, where's the Satanic Congregation? Are they not? Or are they not? Keep throwing them up there. I want to see their input.
Perspective coming from that evangelical background. So he doesn't have a whole lot of tools or weapons in his arsenal to respond to begin with. So he doesn't limited.
Wait a minute. Can we start that again?
Ready with a pretty big handicap here, a very limited perspective coming from that evangelical background. So he doesn't have a whole lot of tools or weapons in his arsenal to respond to begin with. He already has one hand tied behind his back, but he could have used that other hand to knock Naaman out, but he didn't. Instead, he went here, and I don't think.
Look, when even your allies know that you're doing a terrible job and losing the war, right? Again, people, look at his face. They're afraid. They cannot present a defense. We are already through their lines. We are in their back home territory, and they are freaked. Do you understand? You've had all of these debates on YouTube, and people think, arrogant, stupid people think, "Oh, I'm going to go on and I'm going to debate my way through this." Do you know how much that changes historically? Zero, nada, nothing. It doesn't do anything. Your fire is ineffective. Do you understand? You may make all the money in the world. People may give you fame. You may have fame. You may make all the money in the world, but you have been ineffective. You think, because you worship your intellect, you think, "I can do that." No, people, that's not how it's done. They didn't do it that way in antiquity. They won't do that. They didn't do that in the Renaissance, and they won't do that anytime humanity awakens from the virus of monism. Fantastic. Hail Aphrodite is right. None of these goons worship Aphrodite. People, here's my question. Here's my question, Satanic Congregation. Why do none of these monist goons worship Aphrodite? Yeah. Hey, Chewy, is that... Your door's open. Fantastic. All right, let's get to it. A little more, people. Let's listen to him. Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? Watch the fear. Watch for the fear. That's what we're looking for, right?
That really helped him. But okay, let's proceed.
you against the most esteemed scholars in the world. And quite frankly, I don't think you match up. And I'm not willing to have that debate because it's a dishonest debate.
What's the Sorry. Chewy said it's not. We need to go back, right, Chewy? Let me see if I can get it up, people. Tell me. Do we have Bob? Okay.
Perspective happens and use that on. I don't
The most esteemed scholars in
but okay, let's proceed.
scholars in the world. And quite frankly, I don't think you match up. And I'm not willing to have that debate because it's a dishonest debate.
What's the Christ?
in
Did
my
you just tell me
opinion?
that?
Okay. No, I know where you're going with that, and there's no point.
Why,
with the
Bob? Now wait a minute. Watch the guy who's reacting, right? Because he knows what has just happened. Bob came forward with this great maneuver, right? He's just going to end it. He's trying to go for a pin right here in this wrestling match. He thinks he's going to go for a pin, and he's going to say, there are a tremendous number of experts who would refute you, and I'm not going to give you any more. Okay, and then what happens? What do I do as he's trying to go for the pin? I just sweep him. I just sweep his legs. And he goes straight down on his back. What's a Christ, Bob? And the thing is, the guy is watching. He noticed it. He noticed the move. Do you get it? Anytime they enter into a debate or a discussion, anytime they make an assertion, right? Walk away. Walk away from it mentally and go back on the attack. Sweep the legs, right? He wasn't anticipating that, right? He was going for a pin. We're standing, Bob. You can't pin, right? This is how wrestling works. It's a third of your education in antiquity. Have you ever wondered why wrestling is a third of your education? Wrestling, guitar, and what else? Poetry, baby. It's all those lady poets. Oh, sexy lady Greek poets. Okay, let's get to it. Look into his eyes, people. Track the guy who's watching, because he just saw me take down Bob, because Bob's got no defense. Absolutely no defense. He can't tell me what a Christ is. And if you think what a great move that is, people, just let's think about what a great move that is. That's the heart of their entire fucking religion. You understand? You just took them to the heart of their own religion, and they can't defend it. That's why this guy on the right looks afraid. You tell everybody what a Christ is. You just converted this man.
Just tell me.
What is a Christ?
No, we didn't convert him. What we did was to nudge him along the pathway.
I just gave up. I just gave myself to Christ.
Yeah.
I just
You did give a measure of your life to Christ, and that is a great step to take.
So Amin told me, and 2 million people on my podcast, most of which believe what he is saying, because we have no way of discerning whether he's lying or not. We have no way of finding out, reading these texts. But the way Amin described it to us, and there's millions of views on this stuff, that the word Christ in ancient Greek, the first time the word Christ was ever used in the history of humanity was for somebody that was using drugs.
Okay, well, that's the gospel.
But first of all,
Okay, I'm going to stop and reshare, because I really want you to behold the reaction, right? And I know it's freezing. People, look, we're at a public location and everything, you know what I mean? It's part of I'm telling you, Taos, there's a reservoir of dead under the Pueblo, dude. Right? It's a necromantic place, and it messes with the, what's that? Turn up the who? Oh, turn off the down here. Oh, turn up. Okay. Sorry, people. Chewy's trying to help me fly. Excellent, Chewy. Yes, I'll do just that. It's all the way up. Boom. Okay, you ready? Ready, people? It's just constantly freezing. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know. Should I? Okay, let's try to keep going, people.
I don't think that's accurate, but even if it was, that has nothing to do with the contextual interpretation or meaning of.
Okay, hang on a second. Chewy says we're having technical difficulties. Do you want me to refresh the whole thing? Okay, I'm going to try one more time, people, to reshare this.
The Greek term for anointed one found in the Old Testament. which you'll find especially in First Samuel.
Wait a minute. The Greek word for anointing, which you'll find in the Old Testament. I thought you thought that Old Testament was written in Hebrew originally. This guy's not only confused, he's right. And by the way, you can tell by looking at him, just looking into his eyes, he doesn't actually read these texts. I could throw a text at him and you watch. I'm going to do this someday. Somebody's going to get me an interview. I'm going to start just slapping down texts and being like, okay, asshole, read this.
Where Samuel anoints Saul king. You'll see that term used there. What that means there contextually has nothing to do with how that term was first originally used.
Okay. Okay, people, do you hear what's going on? This is backtracking. All you're doing is you're taking what I am saying based on the evidence that I give you, and you're backtracking, just providing a negative to it, right? That's all you're trying to pull back an argument. This is why I hate dealing with theologians. Just get to the text, buddy.
Right. I mean, I just think about it like this. If I were to say that's cool.
Okay. Right? How many professors from Oxford just walked out? You think I ever pulled this kind of crap at an international conference? Good God, man. They would laugh you out. And this is why classicists don't deal with theologians and New Testament scholars, because they are hacks. Look at his plaque in the background, people. You see his plaque? Okay. You see his fake books? You know he doesn't read those books. They're color-coded. Nobody reads color-coded books. You think those lawyers read all those color-coded? No, they don't, people. It's a setup. Listen to him now. Just listen to his phraseology. He's getting into back alley phraseology. Go for it.
You probably know what I mean. That's awesome. But is that how the word cool was first used? When it was...
Oh my God, seriously? You're talking about people. I thought Kip was like some kind of like anomaly. Look at the quality that you get on YouTube. This is really shameful. Dear YouTube, your people are not up to snuff, man. They're not. This guy would be laughed out, right? Imagine this.
It was first used in history. Did the word cool mean awesome? Probably not. It may have had something to do with temperature. It may have had something to do with something else. I don't know. I've never looked into.
Okay, well, let me explain something to you, bonehead. The word cool, which he's talking about for Christ here, is used of Medea, the oldest historical figure that is described as Christing, with the exception of the divinities, because we get it in divine circles earlier. The earliest historical person is Medea. She is referred to as Christing herself. And I think what's hilarious, somebody wrote and they said, they were like, oh no, this is not, I did a search and I found, right? These are the same people who are like, oh, Hillman didn't know about TLG. Hey, I was using TLG in CD-ROM form, baby, when it was first put out, right? I was using it in the late 90s. Right? Somebody did a search and they're like, there is no association in Diodorus Siculus. There is no association of Medea with Christing. Right? Because what did they do? They don't actually read ancient Greek. And they know they don't. The proof is, you can throw a text at them. Anyway, they know they don't. I'm going to start proving this to people by forcing them to read texts, right? The Bible. I'm just going to show them the Bible and say, what does it say? Right? The proof, though, is that they don't know. It's as if they've never entered the actual study of the language itself. They've so they're you can tell right away how silly it is and how off key it is. I guess is the best way to describe it. It's off key. Right? It's like, dude, you seriously, you took a couple of lessons, singing lessons, and now you think you can sing, right? No, that's not how it works. And that's the quality. That's the level of the material that you're getting out of these people. Let's play that again. There was something in there, a deeper point that I wanted to bring out. Boom. I'm going to back it up a little bit.
If I were to say that's cool, you probably know what I mean. That's awesome. But is that how the word cool was first used? When it
Okay. So the Christing could not be found because the geniuses who look to try to refute me don't realize that the shape of the word changes according to the gender. When you have something like a verbal adjective, you know, you've got your little participle sitting there and just doing its thing, trying to set context for you. What they don't realize is that tau is, when you change the gender there, you're not going to get that tau anyway, right? The different parts of the verb will produce that tau's not going to come out, right? So you're going to get risasa, right? And they don't know that, so they can't look for it, which is hilarious, people. Do you know how many Christs I've seen? I've seen over 25,000 of them now. And most of that, granted, a good majority of that is late. Okay, so, half that, cut that in half to a third, and you're getting that early Christ. And let me tell you something. Not only that, but here's the question I want to ask this dude. What are the compounds of Christ? People, here, I gotta stop sharing. People of Satanic Congregation, help me send this question now. Here is the next artillery piece in the war. Do you hear me? It's incoming. It's incoming. Are you ready? Ask a monist who talks about Christ. Say, what are the compounds of Christ? First of all, they won't know what that even means, what I'm referring to, but in Greek, ancient Greek, your compounds are your word building tools, right? Your compounds are the words that have aggregated. They have some kind of gravity that they've sucked in, different prepositional prefixes, boom, boom, boom. They suck them in. You can stack these things. You've got one base and you can have 3 prefixes on the front of it. And that is reorienting the word completely. So my question to you is, how many compounds do we have for Christ? Give me one compound. I'll give you an example. To perichrist. All right. To epichrist. There's another one. To catachrist, to antichrist. Right? If I ask these monists to their face, give me the most widely used compound of Christ in antiquity. Do you know what they're going to do? They're going to look at me and they're going to leave their mouth open and they'll be listening to elevator music in their brain because they don't know it. Then the shame will take a hold of them. Right? All right. Bob was atypical. Right? In a regular discussion with somebody who has at least a modicum of intellectual honesty, Amen is lethal. People, if I can do it at the level of the professors, and people love to watch me go to present papers just for that reason. What, am I dead? Am I dead? Oh, I thought I was dead. Anyway, enough of my vanity. I said, was there any more of this one that we wanted to see? Let me just see, people, if there's much more here. I think there was something he said later. Didn't he get in some? I think he was here. That didn't load? Okay, let's see, people, if you can get some
You're
more.
taking this from a bias source.
I agree,
So
but I have-
they're all going to be, everybody's
I'd
biased.
ask people who are in the middle of this, though, people who aren't on the religious side, people who think Amen is full of shit. I've talked to people who think he's completely full of shit, and I asked them about this history of Caesar, or Julius Caesar, and crucifying lay stace, and the word lay stace being used, and they can agree on that. They don't necessarily agree with his theories,
Okay.
but they do agree on that principle.
Okay. Right. When you actually look when you question the experts about the language, right? Not the theology, not the divinity. But when you just go down to the science, the classicists are going to tell you exactly what I have told you. The person, the professor, I'm not going to say male or female, from Brown, who told me it would take 10 years for people to begin to say, wait a minute, maybe this guy who's saying people use drugs in antiquity, maybe he's right. And yeah, that's what happens. The same thing, people, is what you're watching now with the New Testament. The first wave of the defense will be people like this, or people like Westhoff just coming up with just an argument. He just came out, he refuted me with some argument that he pulled out of he can't do this because, and then he strung 50 words together that didn't make sense if you parse them out, right? An argument. You cannot answer the evidence with an argument. We have taken back the Bible, and you can see the fear in the eyes of its defenders.
So
Well,
that's what I'm.
They agree the term could be translated that way. Do they agree that the term is properly translated that way in Mark 9:48?
Okay. Right? Now look what this dingus does. They agree that the word is translated that way. You know what they're talking about? They're talking about Julius Caesar getting taken captive, right? Getting abducted himself, ransomed, and then going back and with the Roman Navy capturing these people and doing them in, crucify them like you do to all laestai. Do you understand? That's the plural. All of them. Right? This guy is stepping in something that he doesn't even know. And you know it because you can look into his eyes, people. Look into his eyes. Do they have it? Oh, they don't have it. Do they have it? The dude's eyes. I need to see them to see the dude's eyes. Boom. People of Satanic Congregation. I know I don't usually get this up close and personal, but I want you to see. Look into his eyes. Look into his eyes, man. When I talk on this, his eyes move to me on his monitor. He senses fear. He smells it, right? Oh, God.
The answer to that would be no.
I'm just asking, do you understand my position?
I
why I'm
understand
skeptical?
your position. You're not a Greek scholar.
You understand why I'm skeptical, though? How can I be a Greek scholar?
understand that because
Right now, when he said you're not a Greek scholar, Bob said that to Danny. Did you know what this guy's thinking? I'm not really a Greek scholar either. He knows, right? And one of the refutations of the Hebrew, they just came out a couple of days ago. The guy talks about, acknowledges that, he had a couple of years of Greek, or a couple of semesters, he says, a long time ago. And, he can kind of make his way through it if he has a dictionary. He uses a dictionary, right? He said dictionary. No classical philologist refers to their tool, their lexica, in the plural, as dictionaries. That is an amateur mistake of somebody who's not properly trained. No Marine would ever salute like that. Do you understand?
you've been tainted by him.
Hey, now you're getting aggressive.
Okay.
I love it, Bob.
And he's
Bring
not,
it. Let's talk
and
free.
he's not credible.
Oh,
Okay.
So he does have a PhD in classical philology.
He does have a PhD. Listen to how you can't even get through to these people. And look at the dude on the right. Look at him. Look at him looking at him. He knows. Inside, he knows.
That he appears to, and he, he wants to be considered that. But in the bigger scheme of things,
I do have to point out, just because a person has PhD in front of their name, I can tell you right now, that does not necessarily mean that they're always right. As one who is almost done with my doctorate and one who has had numerous conversations with PhDs, there's obviously some utility to the scholarship and expertise, don't get me wrong, but There's plenty of people who have degrees who say really stupid things.
Okay. Can you imagine an astrophysicist talking like that? Can you imagine a fully functioning physician talking like that? Right? Right? You don't say, oh, some doctors. Can you imagine if you went to your doctor and the dude was like, some doctors, you just, they just have bad ideas. Well, wait a minute. Am I in kidney failure or not? Well, that guy over there says you are, but some doctors just don't know. They just, you can have an MD and just really know nothing. No, listen, buddy, you can have a THD or a DD, a doctor of divinity or a doctor of theology. And that's what you've got. And those are the people that you're dealing with. The professionals that I dealt with in classics were just as solid as the professionals I dealt with in microbiology. You were the one on the outside.
I can tell you that from experience. So, yeah. Anyway,
Understand maybe you haven't been able to facilitate the forum that would allow the proper scholars to be here and debate that.
and by the way, I do have to point out his expertise in classical Greek as a philologist does not map onto biblical exegesis.
Okay. Did you hear that? His expertise in classical philology does not map onto biblical. Yeah, put that stuff up, Joey. Biblical exegesis. Do you hear what he said? Imagine if a cardiologist told a neurologist, hey, your study just doesn't map on the physiology of the kidney. Wait, what? Excuse me? So you have a special universe that you live in where all the data is subject to your interpretation first. That's what you're telling me, right? And by the way, you make money off of this. It's creepy.
Nor Koine Greek, New Testament Greek.
Okay, did you hear it? He's distinguishing between classical Greek and Koine Greek as if it's two different languages. This man does not know what Koine is. He doesn't even know. And by the way, he says, and like they all say, oh, in other Koine authors, it doesn't mean this or that, right? But they never give you examples. Number one, there's no other author that they've read outside of the New Testament. That is the only Koine they know. Let me ask you this, smartass. Do you know about the Dorian Koine? Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about centuries and centuries earlier. Do you know how that maps within lyric poetry? No, you don't. You shouldn't open your eyes. You shouldn't. You should keep them shut.
Does not map on. I mean, it helps, but it's not like because you're an expert in classic Greek and philology, therefore you're an expert in interpretation of Mark. And
did you catch it? Where's the mistake, people? Interpretation. Look at how Westhoff comes to interpretation, right? Westhoff it's what they all must fall back on. Interpretation. Just because you were trained to read these texts doesn't mean you can interpret them, is what he is saying. He is saying that in a position of not being trained to read these texts. Do you understand? He is with you in the back alley, and his finger is somewhere where it shouldn't be.
Also, interpretation of Koine Greek terms. They are not the same thing.
Wait, you mean so when I read Lucian, he has his own vocabulary that doesn't apply to anybody, say his next door neighbor who's writing as well. Do you see people what they do? They try to isolate the monism so that it can be the authority. This guy's never read Lucian. He doesn't realize that there are hundreds and hundreds and there are thousands, not hundreds. There are thousands of references to Leista in antiquity, in ancient texts. He doesn't realize that. And he doesn't realize there's this guy Lucian who's using the same language, who's writing about a lay stace, and he's defining it for you. It's a long work, right? And it takes a long, long time. And the entire introduction is about setting up this lay stace. He says, look, I don't like to write about bad people, but we've got to show you what this creep lay stace was all about. Did it just freak out? Oh, it's okay. Open the doors. We'll vent a little bit. Open the doors here, because we have a little bit more to do, people. We have a little bit more. Okay, one more. I think he gets into. Okay, let's try this. Here, I'm going to reshare just in case. Oh, it's working fine? Oh, it's going now. She was like, it's too late. Bring it back. Boom. All right.
The Ammonites, or as my southern relatives preachers would say, Ammonites.
They
But
say
I get
Ammonites,
that.
but
I
you
get
say
that.
and I'm just curious. I don't know. That may be just a red herring, but it's.
I think
I
it
find
is.
I find it rather interesting that you were given that name, if
Yeah.
that is what you were given.
Yes, I haven't given it much
And,
thought.
and
for
you
the
want to tell
Ammonites.
this man what the Ammonites were like, what they did?
It was one of the groups.
Right. Do you see what he's, right away he's fishing for whatever is in the Bible, right? So right away you've got to go just to those texts, and you've got to say, despite what you know around those texts, right? Why? Because Christians do not educate themselves. Monists do not educate themselves. When you have a synagogue, or you have a church, or you have a mosque, the education classes that are in there are not education classes. They are indoctrination. You can do it with any kind of text. People, I could take Homer and do the same thing and create institutions, create little groups around the corner of your neighborhood, put up some kind of cross or a star or some kind of moon or some kind of figure, maybe a tree. We'll do a tree. How's that? And what I'll do is I will just push this one text, and anything outside of this text is irrelevant, because what's most important is how to control you. Do you understand? What this man is losing that you're looking at is control.
They wanted to destroy
Israel.
in the Septuagint.
Just human
text. I think you're probably going to say
and blood
God, the
rituals
altar,
and all
yes,
sorts of sexual
all
licentiousness.
sorts.
Okay, so I don't know that there's a connection, but
Yeah.
oftentimes a name, as you well know from
Well,
ancient Hebrew culture,
well.
always designated something spiritually about the progeny. Now, is it possible?
Here's my question. If this man is not educated in Hebrew and doesn't know Hebrew, doesn't claim to know Hebrew, why is he using Hebrew? Is there some sort of link between Hebrew and theology? Absolutely. Do you understand? This is outside of the science. What you see here is the deterioration of independent reason and the dependence on dogma. It marks both of these people. It's so prevalent, it marks even those who work for the brothel. Do you understand me? The brothelians, right? And I would notice that Metatron assumed, people, that I took money. I took $5,000. Notice that Metatron assumed that. Right? No. The 5,000 was after Bob had already agreed to come, and I was coming, and he was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that interview anymore with Hillman. And the only way to get him to do it was throw some cash on the table. You see Danny throwing me $5,000 on the table, did you? No, that was the whole deal. Right? Travel, people, pay for me to get there. I don't want to take your fucking money. Right? Okay. One more.
That there's a curse of Haman on this man. And it was put there, maybe not deliberately, but perhaps deliberately by an ancestor. I don't know if he's telling the truth.
That is the
If he's telling the
sexiest thing.
truth, if this is an ancestral name, I would say I'd change my name.
Look, did you see the struggle in the guy's head? Right? He acknowledged the joviality of my comment. He acknowledged the fact that it was funny because it's true. Right? Right? You don't laugh at things that aren't real, that aren't, that are false. Right? The fact is that lampoon hits its target. That's what makes great comedy. People like Aristophanes, right? They're the ones who are pioneering that. What you just saw in this gentleman's face was a recognition of that truth, followed by his own brain telling him, hey, you shouldn't be thinking. He's the bad guy. Right, watch.
But he has an ancestral name. I would say I'd change my name. But he hasn't. Through an ancestor. I don't know if maybe not deliberately, but perhaps deliberately by an ancestor. I don't know if he's telling the truth.
That is the
If he's telling the
sexiest
truth,
thing.
if this is an ancestral name, I would say I'd change my name. But he hasn't. And he may, I'm just suggesting.
Well, your name, your public name was D. What did you call it? Did you ever call yourself David, or was it
DCA Hillman was what I got
When
put
did
on
you
my
change it to
publications. I didn't change.
This would be a conversation that Bob would need to have with him if he were to have an exorcism on him or something. But
okay, enough. I thought he was going to say something gloriously outrageous here. Wait, maybe it's here. One more time. Let's try it. But he's not. Let's see.
Overnight.
Yeah.
Because of Aristotle
Not overnight, instantly with Aristotle.
enjoying
Yes,
fornication.
definitely.
Okay, people, look at his expression. What is hard for us to understand here as a people? That a human being could read another human being and come to the conclusion that a different human being they had read was full of shit. Think of that. Look at the smug look on this dude's face. How absurd, he's saying, that a person could read one person and decide another person they read was wrong. That is how simple what I'm describing was. It was that simple, that instantaneous of an event. Something that people who have been indoctrinated, inculcated, and tortured mentally, who are monists, because all monists are tortured, they cannot find. They can't bear, excuse me, they can't endure somebody like me. Do you understand? They can't endure me. Fantastic. I love it. I love it, people. Well, thank you very much to everybody in the congregation who, who would want to go through an analysis like that. Because it's, I don't know. It's not a, let me, what I want to do is I want to put one passage up here. I just want to put one passage. So I'm going to do it. I'm just going to put one for 5 minutes, people. For 5 minutes. Watch this. This is from the Odyssey. You see it up in the right-hand corner. This is 1236. By the way, people, look at if you haven't noticed, look at this top line. Look at this top line. And look at these two epsilons together in this word epesi. Look at the two epsilons don't contract, right? They don't meld into a different, deeper, lower vowel, right? Which is typically what they do. Remember what we're following. This is the Homeric song that we're following, right? And you got to remember this is musical, so the meter is very, very important. By the way, that was another thing when this group tried to refute, or these people tried to refute me with Hebrew meter. I think that's hilarious. The way they did it is so unprofessional, right? Okay. Anyway, if you had a language that actually used meter, right, then okay, but they don't. Potnia kirke. People, look at this word potnia that I'm underlining here. God, you know what that is? Oh, that's an old title, baby. That's an old title for Circe. What kind of woman is this? I want to give you what kind of woman this is. You want to see what a potnia is? This is all you came for today, right? Oh, God. Chiefly in addressing females, whether goddesses or women, right? Now, look at how they define this thing. It's so sexy. A mistress. What? Yes, I am. Damn. Okay, here. Chewy says it's not up there. Boom. Start with this one. Here's Potnia, people. Look at Potnia and how gorgeous she is. Look, queen. What kinds of queens do you have in antiquity? Here's the Potnia Theron, that queen of beasts, right? Talking about Artemis. Oh God. What is this line? Stan eroton podnia. Who is that queen of the loves, the desires, the erotic passion? Who is that? Right? It's Aphrodite. See how they're using queen, and you've got all of these. We've got Hera. There is queen. Oh, gorgeous. Who else? Look at about the sixth line down. Athenia. Oh, you knew you were gonna drag those that those virgin worshipers into this, right? Look at number 2. You've got Demeter and Cora. And how are they defining it here? As revered. Look at number 3, revered or august. Can you imagine talking about a woman as being august or revered? Call her Augusta, you know what I mean? God, it's sexy. I want to know a mistress of beasts who is revered. Now, look at the under definition number 3. Look at what it says of Hebe, right? It says of Hebe, of Enio. Oh, and you don't know anybody until you know Enio. You know what I mean? Oh, thank war, baby. War goddess. Oh, God. Who's after Enio? Calypso. Wait a minute. That's a woman in the Odyssey who, what did she do? She held Odysseus captive for how many years? Whoops, there's another one next to her. Circe. Circe, another one. Oh my God. People, what is going on? Our landscape in Homer is riddled. It's riddled with this powerful woman over and over and over and over again. And you can take every instance of a powerful woman. Somewhere is a man weeping. Within just 100 lines. This is the way it is. I'm serious. It's weird. Wherever you find one of these powerful women, there's a dude who's crying on a beach. Odysseus, it's happening to most of the time. You know what happens to all of Odysseus's men? He leaves Circe, and Circe tells him, you're going to go to this island, you're going to go by this place of the sirens, right? You're going to go by this place of the sirens, and you better watch out. They will do things to you, Odysseus. Right? They will do things to you. This is in the 12th book of the Odyssey, right? They'll do things to you. Who are these women? Who are these women that are so crazy, right? Sirens, baby. You know what surrounds the sirens? Dead bodies. Dead bodies. What else? The bones that are removed from those dead bodies. And you know what else? The skins that were taken from those dead bodies and put through a process of tanning. Oh, God. You mean they did? Oh, yeah. No, they used all sorts of skins and everything, right? They used part of that stuff on there. They used human skin on their bows, people. You know how I've been talking to you about Scythians and bows all this time? Where do you think these sirens come from? Oh, God, it's horrific, dude. It is sexy horrific. Oh, yeah. No. You understand? Yeah, human leather, right, Ruby? Right? What's wrong with Ruby and Jeremy showing us the leather, right? Imagine this, people. Remember, when you're Scythian, how do you prove that somebody was intruding on your territory, right? Because they still have territory. Even though they're mobile, they still have territory. It's just like they're mobile, they're taking care of the culture, the land, but they're doing it in a mobile sense, right? Land and animals, taking care of them all, right? In a mobile sense. Well, how do you prove that some intruders came in and tried to kill the animals or destroy the forest? How do you prove it? You got to get a piece of them, because you can't carry bodies around on your horse. What are you talking about? So what do? You get a scalp, right? You get a scalp. Something very personal. If you think about it, why the scalp, baby? Why the scalp? Because the scalp shows you not only the ethnicity, but you can even get hints of gender, right? You can tell a lot from a scalp. Look, dude, this guy was obviously a Greek. As you're waving his scalp, as you're a Scythian woman who caught a group of Greeks who had been shipwrecked, what'd you do? killed him and did things to him. One of the guys you ate, you let a couple go, but you collected scalps of the ones. You always got to let somebody go so they send the word not to come, right? But you take those scalps back home with you, and those are proof. You treat those are proof. And if you're a woman, ladies, listen to this. I told the congregation this before, but I'd like to remind you, if you're a Scythian woman and you don't have at least 3 scalps, you cannot mate. You got no mating rights. You mean every one of these women from this tribe, these Amazonian crazy people, you mean every one of these women, if I date one for the afternoon, they dart me, I'm out in the field and I'm like, fall over. You know what I mean? I spend the afternoon with them. You mean they got to get 3 scalps before they can actually fornicate just for fun? Just to have the right to do it for fun. You think your parents are bad, dude, right? You could tell you got to wait until you're 18, or maybe tell you wait until you get a job. No. It's wait until you got 3 scalps. Can you imagine? The Scythian girl that's like, oh yeah, I'm going there. Do you know what I mean? She brings why do you think they bred the way that they bred, dude? How aggressive breeding is that? Whew, it makes me scary and somewhat titillated, but scared, right? Oh, God. It's glorious. Yeah, let me do one more thing. I just wanted you to see people. Look at these lines. Oh, I got to share the screen again. Look at these lines just quickly. It's some Homer. Boom. Oh, God, I didn't mean to do that. Well, here, we're there anyway. Do people have the definition? Darn it. Okay, people, let me do this again one more time. Boom, boom. Let me get okay, now I'm not going to touch it so it doesn't go away. Okay, I want you to look about halfway down at the word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th line down. You'll see the third word in is sirens. Sirens. Right? And what are the sirens doing? They are thalgusin. A couple of words later, thalgusin. They are altering your mind. And how do they do it? Ligure aoidei. They're doing it with a song that is a specific type. This is a type of song, a liguric song. What is a liguric song? As Edgar Allan Poe was familiar with. It is that which transmits the voice of Ligeia. That is the direct shot of the morning that creates terror. And where do these sirens live? They live in a dewy, wet, grassy plain. Dewy, wet, grassy they are. Do you understand? What is a lemon? What is a lemon, people? This is where they exist. Sirens exist here. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to reshare again. Sirens exist here, people. Boom. Take a look at it. Any moist, grassy place or meadow. Wait a minute, that doesn't sound so bad. Sometimes it has flowers. Look at number 2. Pudenda muliebria. That's an educated way of saying, hey, I'm talking to the women, and your pudenda, your private parts, are the plane on which the sirens live. Okay? Now, do you understand that from these sirens comes a river? That will drown everything. Everything drowns. What lives around the sirens that Homer describes for us? And by the way, they are virgins, right? They are parthenoi. They are. Don't think, if I show it to you, if I show you the actual text, you're going to think, wait a minute, these are women. These are adult women. Give me a 45-year-old woman to play this part. Better yet, give me a 65-year-old woman to play this part. Give him some authority. Make her old and distinguished. Sorry. You never saw the siren. You never saw the siren. Circe tells Odysseus, don't go to the siren. What lays around the siren? Her song creates moldering, that's how it describes it, moldering bodies, bones, and tan skin. Do you want to hear the siren? Odysseus tells you. He says it's not fair that I alone hear the voice of prophecy from Circe. Remember, they all came here because of Circe, right? She's the one who's leading them. She's the one who's been holding them captive for years. Yes. So, that's the way. If you don't like it, too bad. Right? And what are those, what is Odysseus doing now? What is Odysseus doing? He's trying to hear that prophetic voice. People, I think it's this one, but do you remember the bread that Jesus gave to Judas? Do you remember that bread? Right? I told you that was the thespestic bread. Thespestic bread. Correct? I want you to look at this word right here. Look at this word that I've got underlined. Can I see that one? There we go. Thespesion. That is in this. That word is accompanying the word at the beginning of the line, serenon. Why? Why is it modifying that word? Right? Well, the word order doesn't matter. It's the shape of the word that really matters, right? And that's what they're showing here. But what is happening? The sirens are creating a voice that is prophetic. If you want to hear that voice, says Circe, tie yourself. Have your dudes tie yourself up. Have them put wax in their ears. And if you go crazy and start telling them to stop and to let you go so you can go to the sirens, that they're sailing by, you tie them up even harder. Right? Just put more line on them. Just don't let him go to them, but let him hear them. Do you know what changed Odysseus's life? It was Circe's direction for his purification. You didn't even know that was there, did you? Because you haven't seen the sirens. We can talk about the Bible with people who don't actually read the Bible, and we can't get to the deep. If we follow the sirens, we get the deep. Let's see if does anybody want to say anything here? I'm going to take over the comments since Chewy's normally doing it. Does anybody from the congregation want to say anything about sirens? Anybody just want to say sirens? Oh, I'll just put a few of these up. Yeah. Greek is sexy, right? Here's the drug bread, right? Remember that? CJ got it. He remembered that drug bread. Guess what? Right? They're using the same terms. They're using the same terms in the Odyssey. According to the religious guys, the theologians, you can't do that, right? According to Dan, Christianity's special. It has its own thing, right? Judaism, Christianity, you can't touch them. You can't touch any monism, right? No, people, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to touch monism. We're here to expose monism touching us. Fantastic. They write the future too. Oh, you didn't know about the sirens? Yeah. Did you know that they are those dark muses? Right? People, I sent a musician today the word in Greek for music because I wanted him to see that the ancient Greek word for music was simply and specifically that which the muses create. that which the muses create. Right? Now, watch this. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I shouldn't, but I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. Is it? No, we got a little bit of battery left. That's okay. We're good, Chewy. I want to just show you. So you can see it too, people. Watch this. Boom. This is going to surprise you. Are you ready? You always come to me to be surprised, right? That's what you love it. You love it. You love it when I pull out my surprise. Musique. Do they see it? Musique. What is that? Well, look what they got in parentheses. This is the lexicographer trying to help you figure it out, right? Techne. Trying to tell you, this is the technical definition. Any art over which the muses presided. You mean it doesn't just say like songs or, things that you hear, notes that you hear? No. It's poetry sung to music specifically. Look at number 2. Agon. It's a contest. It's a contest. You mean they associate music with a contest? Absolutely. Absolutely. Music for strings, people, is born in Greek contest. Now look at number 2. Generally art or letters. Art or letters. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. A musician is a scholar. A musician is a scholar, people. Look at the 3 branches. 3 branches of their education. Musique, grammata, and gymnastike. Oh, that's a nice one. Gymnastics, right? That includes the pankration and crushing each other and putting each other in submissions. And then you got the grammata, the writings, the language. Do you see Greek education as Greek language, Greek music, and Greek athletics? Isn't it gorgeous? If you ever talk to a musician, people, if you ever talk to a musician, here's what I want you to do. I want you to listen for the educated in them. And I'm talking about popular musicians, right? I'm talking about, because there's something about becoming a master of those strings. There's something about it that catapults you down ancient philosopher's track. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, people. And I don't care if you don't like how I talk about it. I want to give you one more, just so you can see I'm not making this stuff up, man. I don't need to make anything up. I don't need to give you excuses like the monist. I don't need to come up with bullshit to explain away anything. I just give it to you, people. You love it. You love this stuff. Are you ready? Last one for today. Oh, God. Now, musikos, right? All we're doing is we're changing the same root. We're just going to go ahead and change the termination of it. Now, people, I want you to look at the first line where it says musikos. That's going to be your Athenian form, right? Look at the Dorian form, musikos. For those of you who think Moses isn't related and wasn't taken from the Greek, you're morons. Look at A, musical. Look at Roman numeral number 2, skilled in music or musical. Look at English 2, or Arabic 2, votary of the muses, man of letters and accomplishments, or a scholar. It is the opposite, OPP, of amathes, unlearned. You haven't been to school. You're amathes. What happened to your education, James, John, and Peter? You had it under Jesus. Okay, look at number 3. Something that's delicate is musical. Did you think that in your brain? No, because your brain is bog-trotting English-based. Elegant or delicate is that which is musically harmonious. And what is harmonious is suitable. Functionality, people. Functionality. Isn't Greek gorgeous? Now, I just took you through a little walk of a few words of Greek, and already your brains, have expanded. They have. Now, all these people trying to tell you there was this language, and this language created this document with this complexity, but it only had this tiny, tiny number of words. No, you've been lied to, people. Mother Greek. There are two forms of communication in human history. Are you ready? There's Greek and there's barbar. Which are you? Thank you for coming today, people. I'm glad we could finish without an emergency. I looked through some comments, right? Fantastic. Oh, good. Oop. New comment. Oh, is that why it doesn't? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the Dark Mother. That's kind of nice. Kind of like that. Right. Music. Oh, God. Right. Here we are. Right. Was there any big, honestly? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Your mind is blown off. That's fantastic. Right. Fantastic. I hope everybody gets brain blown, right? Hey, what else? What are you living for if not to get your brain blown, right? Fantastic. Okay, people. It's been nice. I'm going to have more of these. Going to try to have more of these so that we can navigate. But I need to punch forward too. I need to punch forward. Seeing where you've come is one thing, and that's what these response things, the videos can do. See where you've come, and when you can kind of analyze the people who are putting up a defense, trying to put up a defense. Great. You can see you're through them. We're in their backfield. We've got their Bible, and there's nobody that can take it away from us. Love it. Thank you for coming today. Hail Satan.
Lovely Diana, reign with magic, death producer. Darkest dreams come true, kisses for you. Her arrows darken the sky, a flight of ravens flying through. Ophir harp, dark lord melody shining through. Death inducer, raining blood, bite your lip. Bellissima in the vampire dress, cracking leather whips. Reign with your magic. Hail Satan, spells of Lucifer. Hail Satan, Catherine of the wheel. Hail Satan, the lake of fire is clear. Sing the muse. Reign with magic, death producer. Darkest dreams come true, kisses for you. Goat head soup, it's magic. You can have a giant rubber. Devil in a tight dress, whiplash. Do androids dream of electric sheep? Mr. Sandman with the hot purple anointing cream. It knocks him out. The drugs weigh a ton. Snow blonde, do your makeup. Girl, be my private dancer. Hecate says I'm her main squeeze. Lucifer, the light bearer. Murder Levine.